wife dresses me.
F Sift, Z Ghost, Y whatever.
He put it up for grabs as he did.
And he just throws it without really knowing, having any idea where it might go.
And the Falcons will fall to 4-6.
Wielding a lightsaber like in Star Wars.
Great to meet you. I'm Kirk.
Netflix's new quarterback show. Should you watch it? Is it garbage?
Ah! Dang it! Dang it, Kirk!
Did you enjoy all the insights into Patrick Mahomes and Kirk Cousins? What is that?
It's just sensitive as f.
First off, elephant in the room, Jackson Mahomes. How much is he in it? Not a lot. Henry Winkler gets more screen time. So you're getting more Fonz than you are getting Jackson. I'm not sure you see Jackson Mahomes speak.
Man, come on, man. That's the Fonz. You gotta give him what he wants, man.
So first I'm gonna do a overall review. Is it any good? And then I'm gonna go into sections on each player. And so just check the chapters below and it'll tell you where, if you wanna just skip to the Kirk Cousins weird shit that's over here somewhere. Kirk Cousins. So if you ask Netflix what the show is about, and I quote, "For the first time ever, the NFL allowed quarterbacks to be mic'd up for every single game of a season. The series features exclusive, unprecedented access to Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, Marcus Mariota from the beginning of the 22 season to its conclusion."
I'm not a surgeon, but...
Is it really unprecedented and exclusive behind the scenes? Or is it just like mic'd up and then you creeped on him on Instagram?
If he ever comes to my house, he would get like a chicken stuffed with ricotta and spinach with a reduction sauce.
What? The show is mostly concerned with the wives. It's like, well, we followed this quarterback around. What's he doing? Well, he's hanging out with his wife and his maybe kid and his pregnant wife. Looking at his fish tank, building a pool, and getting a chef.
Building the crib.
You talking about these ones?
The big ones.
It's not a lot of like team behind the scenes. You don't see like meetings, offensive meetings. You're not really getting all that much in like practice. It just makes you wonder like, who is this for? Like, what is this target? Because something like Drive to Survive, that explains a lot. It's like trying to get newbies interested in the sport or don't really know much about the sport. So it's like really explaining like Formula One stuff to you. This doesn't do that with football. Like if you don't understand American football, you're not gonna learn a lot about it here.
We've got a chance to score when they do.
You know, whole games can be boiled down to like one mic'd up play and you're like, all right, like, so you're not learning like what's a fourth down. How is this exclusive and unprecedented? I think they just mean like, no one's ever like done mic'd up of a quarterback for every game for a whole season before.
This is my shit! This is my shit!
It's really not any different than like Hard Knocks type stuff. Just like take some Hard Knocks, add some mic'd up, and then like creep on Brittany Mahomes' Instagram, and you're 85% of the way to this show.
Gotta be a good one. Gotta be a good one. Got it.
Oh my God, he hates taking pictures.
Okay, babe, we have one more spot.
No.
By that thing. Yeah.
Bruh.
I'm pregnant and we have to work on all the angles.
The Chiefs have a show called The Franchise, which is like behind the scenes. It's produced by the team. And that, if you're into the Chiefs, is better than this. Like, if you've watched all of this season's The Franchise, you don't need to watch this. Like, you saw all this stuff in more detail. It's like, the interesting things you would think, this like unprecedented access, is like maybe they're gonna be showing more like X's and O's and like offensive meetings and like, oh, how we designed this blitz package, stuff that they like don't want to put out there during the season.
It's reindeer personnel, baby. It's the only way we can get them all in the game. Reindeer personnel.
Who's Rudolph? Am I Rudolph?
It doesn't do that. There's very little of that. So just go watch The Franchise. And I know a lot of teams have something like The Franchise now. I know the Vikings have one. So if you're a Vikings fan, you don't need to watch this Kirk Cousins crap. You just watch your version of The Franchise, which I've not seen, but it's probably better. If you're a Falcons fan, you don't really need to watch this. Mariota vanishes from the show like halfway through. He gets benched in real life and he gets like cut from the show. There are talking heads with the quarterbacks and the wives. And then I think Kevin O'Connell does talking heads. I don't remember if Andy Reid does any. I think they just like cut in press conference stuff or things where he's like talking to Pat when Pat's mic'd up.
On the run, will he run for it? It's finally come on to tie the game at 17.
I saw I couldn't have done it better myself.
So you're not getting a lot of like behind the scenes with Andy Reid. And we barely see Arthur Smith. I think that's like only press conferences. The Falcons are definitely like the least featured in this. So like, who is this for? It's not the like dedicated football fans, even though we'll watch it. And it's not even like Drive to Survive where it's like educating people on the sport. You know, because like in Drive to Survive, Will Buxton will come on and be like, the guy who is the fastest in qualifying gets to start in first in the race. You're like, okay, thanks, Will Buxton. You don't even have that. So like, if you came into this not understanding American football, there's no Will Buxton there to be like, if you don't get the yards on 4th down, there is no 5th down, you know, stuff like that.
Dang it, Kirk!
Let's take these 3 quarterbacks and really nobody else. We don't really spend much time with any other players. You're not getting to know the backup quarterback. You're not getting to know Travis Kelce. Like, even Travis Kelce like barely is in the show. And that's because like Pat went on the Kelce podcast. So you like see that for a minute. They don't even mention, I don't think it's ever mentioned that the Super Bowl was a Kelce Bowl. And like half of one of the episodes is a Super Bowl. I don't know that that's ever mentioned. So like, what is this for? It's taking their helmets off and then turning them into like boring reality TV people where you just see them like hang out with their pregnant wife and put together IKEA furniture and talk about their aquarium, you know, stuff like that. That's the unprecedented access.
That big one's a fire pit. And then we have the swim up bar.
So like Mariota gets benched partway through the year and then just like vanishes from the show. And then it's like hinted at that because he was benched for the rookie, that he then went and got like a surgery.
Of course, you want all your guys to be here. But he's not here right now.
Marcus Mariota went like AWOL. He's not with the team. Not with the team? He left the team. Okay, interesting.
It's interesting the timing of his decision to step away from the team.
With a month to go. A month to go in the season?
Did Marcus Mariota quit on the Falcons?
I mean, I can't say I've ever heard of this.
Then it's like, oh, there's going to be some tea here. There's like some drama. Like the team's like, he left. Like he didn't need this surgery. Like suddenly because we benched him, he's like leaving the team and quitting the team to get surgery. And he's not even there to like be the backup to the rookie now in case the rookie gets hurt. It's like, ooh, maybe some drama. But it's just, he just like the show was just like, anyway, just Cousins and Mahomes from now on. If you're a Chiefs fan and you're interested, I would say just skip to episodes 7 and 8 because 7, part of it is the Giants-Vikings playoff game. And that's a fun juxtaposition because the Vikings season ends because Kirk Cousins throws a check down on 4th down. So that's a good juxtaposition up against Mahomes being Mahomes.
4th and 8, game on the line. Cousins, Hawkinson, he is not going to get there, and the Giants will take over. Unbelievable.
On 4th down, you want to give us a chance to convert. I mean, that was just super short.
So you get that one game to make you appreciate Mahomes more, and then you get the whole playoff run. That's basically those 2 episodes. Even though, like, if you've watched all the NFL films, mic'd up stuff, and then the franchise, I don't know you're getting anything new here. I will say, they don't bleep in this show, so you do get more of an appreciation of Patrick Mahomes' swearing. You get the cursing, so maybe I'll make a fuck montage, like a Patrick Mahomes fuck montage, and then juxtapose that against the Kirk Cousins golly gee, Jeepers H Christmas kind of montage.
I said some things that were a little wild, and we might be able to keep some of those in the episode.
Hey! This is what I fucking do! This is what I fucking do!
Just one. Oh, that's good moderation.
This is my shit! You fuck with the wrong motherfucker! You fuck with the wrong motherfucker! You fuck with the wrong motherfucker!
Golly.
Fuck! This is my shit!
My wife dresses me, by the way.
And it's not very drama filled. They really don't have a lot of drama. It's pretty boring behind the scenes stuff. You get to see like Pat yells at his dogs.
Actually, is he yelling?
If your team has a franchise-like show, watch that, and you don't need to watch this. The one knock I will say on shows like The Franchise, made by the teams, they feature a lot of segments on like the training staff and the equipment manager, the guy who's like, I gotta try to get all these bags to this away game and like stock the lockers. Which is like, if you're a super fan like me, it's like kind of interesting. There's some details in there that are sort of interesting. Most people probably don't give a shit about that. And so like The Franchise, I want to say the whole year is like 8 hours. And this Netflix show, which is covering 3 teams, 3 quarterbacks, is like 5-ish hours. So you think about it, it's like only one team and it's stretched 8 hours. So it's like, it's not quite as dense. The Netflix show has a little more star power, a little more focused on like quarterbacks.
And that's strategic where that towel's placed.
Not as much on the like team staff. And so that might be for you more interesting.
You don't want to see the road game failure to spill over into a second one and then allow that to become a thing.
Mm-hmm. As for the unprecedented access, because we mic'd up the quarterbacks for every game all season, they really summarize games. Like there are a few games they will focus on, like, so the Colts-Vikings game where the Vikings had the biggest comeback in NFL history. All right, we'll show some of that game. The Panthers-Falcons game with the DJ Moore taking his helmet off, then they missed the extra point, you know, things like that. Some of those games, the Super Bowl, the AFC title game, they get a lot of attention. But during the regular season, there's very little. Like they'll do a montage of like 3 games where they just show like one play from each game. And it's like, oh, they're on a winning streak. One play each, and you move on. Like we're not getting a ton of mic'd up stuff here.
Mahomes, surveying, spins, keeps it alive, touchdown! Fucking go!
They're not gonna show you like practice squad guys for sure. They're not even showing you like the backup quarterbacks. I was expecting, you know, to be like in the quarterback room, you'd probably get to know like the 2 backup quarterbacks, especially in Atlanta where you've got a quarterback controversy as like the show. You know, you're picturing like a Hard Knocks type thing where it's like, okay, quarterback coach and offense coordinator having meetings talking about like, when do we make the change and when the head coach finally changes, and the personal rivalry situation. You would see Ritter and Mariota like interacting. Is it awkward? Does Mariota mentor him? None of that is in there. What you get instead is like 3 plays of a game, Mariota fumbles, and it's like, oh, he blew the whole game with that fumble. And then you go to the next game, and oh, he fumbled, and oh, he's not doing great. Okay. You don't learn anything about Ritter or a quarterback coach. It's like barely in there.
Arthur Smith is going to have to get better play out of the quarterback position.
Arthur, is that something that you might look at for the next game of quarterback change?
We look every week to make sure that we got the right guys in the right spots.
It's a 6-point lead for Washington. 1 minute to go in the ball game.
Oh no!
Batted in the air, intercepted.
As another example, the Chiefs-Bengals regular season game. In that game, the Chiefs were up 24-20. They have the ball in the 4th quarter. They're driving. They're on their way. They're going to go score a touchdown, make it an 11-point 4th quarter lead, or kick a field goal, make it a 7-point 4th quarter lead. Travis Kelce fumbles, turnover, Bengals score, and it's like, oh man, game absolutely turned on that play. And then the Chiefs are driving, they're down 3, they're like in long field goal range. So then Pat gets shoestring tackled on 3rd down, they have to settle for a field goal, and it'll tie the game with like 2 minutes left. But the field goal is missed, and so then the Bengals just have to like run the clock out basically. So that whole game turns on Kelce fumbling and a missed field goal, both in the 4th quarter. And neither of those plays are shown or mentioned. Kelce's fumble, no. And it just makes it look like Pat on this 3rd and 3, he can't convert, he gets shoestring tackled, and it was his fault that they lost because of that. So it's like, it's just so focused on the quarterbacks that you're neglecting obvious game-changing plays like that to just make it all about them. Kind of disingenuous, but not like horrifically manufactured. I feel like Drive to Survive, the Formula One Netflix show, does more manufacturing of like taking interviews out of context and making it seem like there's more drama than there is like between people. I don't think there's really any of that in here.
I need you to go to the haircut place and just trim this up right here. I'm going today. It's killing me.
And here, like, this is an obvious storyline to do. It's kind of amazing they didn't do anything with this. It's pretty appalling when you think about it. Like, you think, oh, they followed this team, they're gonna have this footage. This has gotta be a major storyline, and they did nothing with it. So in the Jaguars playoff game, divisional round, Pat gets his ankle hurt.
And Mahomes throws it late.
Oh, shit!
Pass is complete to the 45 to Blake Bell.
Shit!
Mahomes is hurt.
This is some of the highlights right here, is him cursing a lot, fighting with coaches.
I'm gonna take you out here.
No. Fuck no. I'm good. Hell no. Hell no. No. Fuck no. 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 I gotta do it at halftime. I can do it at halftime.
It's in, man. When you have a big throat.
I'll do it at halftime.
You want to take here and get your x-ray, bro.
Fuck! Damn it!
They want to see his toes, and he's like, I'll show you my toes.
See you get up on your toes.
Yeah, I can get. I'm good. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna be able to fucking sprint, but I can do everything else.
So while he's hurt, and they're like trying to, like, you gotta go get X-rays, you gotta get it taped, and maybe he's not going back in the game. You think your whole season is just blown up. So in comes backup quarterback Chad Henne, and where did we get the ball? What's the situation in the game? At our own 2-yard line. So you're like, this can go real bad, real fast. This is gonna be a sack in the end zone, or they're just gonna like not want to use him. He's just gonna hand it off 3 times up the middle, and we're punting from our 5 or some shit.
Chad Henne will throw from his own end zone. Comes to Kelsey at the near side, who's sandwiched at the 7.
But no, Chad Henne, veteran, he's like 37. He was, Super Bowl. He's the backup. He like never plays. So he gets like no game time.
Nice.
With 2nd down and goal to go at the 1. 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Now they throw it near side. Kelsey's got it. Touchdown!
What are you talking about?
Saves the season, maybe. He retires at the end of the Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl. He was like, this is the ultimate Cinderella story. Okay. This is the penultimate Cinderella story for a backup quarterback. So you can just picture this story. Like, you show Chad Henne, you show some quarterback room. You talk to Chad Henne in week 2, you talk to him in week 10 about how do you stay ready when you never get to play in the game? How do you keep mentally prepared? What's it like trying to back up Patrick Mahomes? And you see him do that shit, and you're like,
now Mahomes is in trouble, scrambling to his right, holding it, gets off the hit, now lunging forward, now fires it late, caught!
I'm like that.
I can't do that shit. So if I go in the game, what's gonna happen, And you follow him through all of that, and you're like, well, God forbid if I have to come in. Backup quarterback, pressed into service, saves the season in the playoffs. They win the Super Bowl, he's part of it, and he rides in the sunset, retires, Super Bowl winning. Amazing. And they did like nothing with it. We only really see it in terms of like Pat's like trying to tell everybody he can go back in the game. We're like, oh, well, then Chad did well, I guess.
Great fucking job, dog! Great job! Hey! Great job! Great job! Great job! Great job!
Another thing I was surprised they don't mention is the like Super Bowl curse for like the MVP and then the passing yards leader. They like never win the Super Bowl, and the year you win the MVP or the year you lead the league in passing yards, they never win the Super Bowl. And Pat did both of those things, like broke the curse. So like you should have set up the curse at the end, and you talk to Pat like, are you superstitious? Because he's superstitious. One of the highlights of the show is they did this like montage of Pat like stretching and then like talking about all his superstitious things about like pre-game I do this and then I do this and then I do this.
My routine is the same every time. I'm very superstitious. And I try to practice every throw that I can make in a game. I always end that session of throwing by playing a little DB and then catching a pass from Chad. Love you, love you, love you.
kiss Brittany and Sterling before heading back into the locker room. During the anthem, I stand at the 30-yard line.
Asking him about like the curses allegedly and his superstition. What does he think? And he's like, oh, I don't believe in any of that. I don't believe in any of that. Cut to first game of the playoffs, he immediately gets hurt. Like, oh my God. They didn't make it clickbaity enough. Like, what the fuck, guys? So that's my overall thoughts. It's not great. Franchise is better. Not that super interesting. Drama is not really all that dramatic. They at least don't invent a lot of it. The like plays in the game, mic'd up stuff is fine, but you can get that elsewhere. You then just splice in some talking heads that are all recorded after the season, and it's like, eh. But there are some highlights, there are some clips here and there, pretty interesting. And I'm about to break all of those down. So just watch this. You don't need to watch 7 hours or whatever, because I did it for you. There's not a lot of like X's and O's, so don't think you're getting a bunch of like insights into play design or practice. There's like a few little bits. What you're really getting insight into is like Kirk Cousins' weird house.
He built a good fire coop.
For the rest of this, I'm just gonna break down bits of each quarterback, so just check the chapters below for if you want to skip. Going into this, I was thinking, you know, Kirk Cousins is going to be boring. Mariota's at least got a quarterback controversy, and then Pat will be fun, I guess. Mariota is boring. Mariota is so boring. I don't know what's interesting about it. They don't do shit with like the quarterback controversy. It's just like occasionally you get a press conference clip of Arthur Smith being like, hey, are you gonna bench him? And he's like, I don't know. That's about it. You get like no insight into this quarterback controversy, so that's nothing. Oh, what's interesting about him? I don't know. He's from Hawaii. Like, is that interesting? I mean, if I told you I used to live in Idaho, does that make me interesting?
You know I love you, dog.
You know, Mariota's vanilla ice cream. And you're like, all right. Kirk Cousins is like unflavored ice cream that's been dyed gray, and you don't know why. And you're like, I don't know that I can come up with something more boring and dull than this, but it's somehow interesting.
Great to meet you. I'm Kirk.
So Kirk Cousins takes every Tuesday off, and the way he talks about it doesn't sound like he got any permission to do this. He was just like, I've decided, since I'm the quarterback and I make $40 million a year, that I just take Tuesdays off, and there's nothing you can do about it. Which, I mean, I guess I respect the hustle. Like, you're the franchise quarterback, I guess you can kind of do that. What are they going to do, fine you?
Unlike most starting quarterbacks, I choose to take Tuesday entirely off. I think at first it threw the coaches off a little bit that, wait a minute, our starting quarterback's not going to be in the building all day on Tuesday. We're not even going to see him. But it's just something that I felt was important.
So during that time, Kirk and I get our time together. We'll go for a walk with the dog.
Good boy.
Pretty sure, read between the lines here, this is Taco Tuesday, if you know what I'm saying.
My love language happens to be quality time. So
they have sex on Tuesdays.
I don't know how I could do this life without Tuesday. Seriously, during football season.
It's just sensitive as fuck.
Kirk Cousins' play style seems to be stand there, waiting until you're about to be killed, and then just at the last second, throw the ball, and then get killed anyway. And just do that on repeat. And then you moan a lot. There's like multiple Kirk moaning montages.
He will sit in that pocket and take a shot. Kirk Cousins is tough.
And then you juxtapose that with Pat, like running around doing weird shit, doing a weird and like figure roll.
Holds the ball, holds it. Now he's going to shovel it late. He's got McKinnon. Touchdown!
God, Kirk looks like he's a masochist. And in fact,
I do think there's a part of me that maybe is just sick and just likes it. You know, I think sometimes you get hit and you like it.
A masochist. I'm pretty sure. He's into some weird shit. Kirk's house has a secret room. The architecture, the design of this room just screams like the back room where they keep the porn at a movie rental place in the 80s. And he says that there's like, well, we designed a space here to put a Lombardi trophy. I'm like, oh, that's sad. Good luck with that, buddy. Kirk has a life-size like real doll of himself. in his weird basement dungeon, hidden room. I didn't know that Kirk Cousins' nickname is Captain Kirk, and he has William Shatner's autograph. Kirk gets the wind knocked out of him, and it made me think, if you're a British person and you're getting into the NFL and you're watching this, what do they call it when you get the wind knocked out of you? Because British people use wind to mean fart. Do they watch this and think Kirk Cousins got all the farts knocked out of him?
I'll be good. Wind knocked out of me. I'm good.
All right, great. Let's
Wind knocked out of me.
All right, take your time.
I got the wind knocked out of me. I'm good.
I don't know. So write in the comments if you're British. What do you guys call it when you get the wind knocked out of you?
Week 1, I thought, this is the perfect shirt.
Kirk Cousins is into pseudoscience, which I guess isn't that surprising that the super Christian dude would also like not understand science at all. So he's doing this like brain training thing where he's got like a electrode on his head.
I've been doing neurofeedback for over a decade. It's a great way for my brain to, be trained to be at its absolute best. Whenever the sound cuts out or the screen were to shrink or the screen were to dim, and in this case, most of the time the screen dims, it's correcting your brain. It's instructing your brain that the electrical activity on your brain is not where it should be to be focused.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is bullshit. I don't know what the fuck you think this is doing, that you're training your goddamn brain. Just go sit and meditate for 10 minutes. I guarantee you that will be better for you than this like, oh, I'm watching a video, but I'm actually focusing on brainwaves. It's like, are you really paying attention to the video or are you really paying attention to that? Just go meditate in a dark room. Just sit and close your eyes for 10 minutes. I guarantee you that is better for your brain training than whatever this bullshit is.
To train your brain to stay calm and steady in fight or flight moments like football games, especially the intense endings, I think it gives you a level up.
This is bizarre. What's the thought process here? Spike the ball. He had a brain freeze.
Yeah, that was...
Quarterback, kneel down.
I think it has a lot of merit.
I still remember looking at the map of our brain on a computer together when we were dating.
Secondly, he's got a team of chiropractors. All right, chiropractic, bullshit. Pseudoscience nonsense, okay? Crack your bones. Doesn't mean it's good. Go to like real doctors, Kirk. You've made $231 million. Get a real doctor.
Ba-boom. Kirk called us up one day. I, of course, thought it was one of my football buddies playing a joke on us. Open your mouth. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in.
Kirk uses the term statistically significant incorrectly. He thinks statistically significant just means like an important statistic. And that is not what that means. All I'm saying, Kirk Cousins does not know p-values, if you know what I'm saying. Then Julie, on their Taco Tuesday, she starts talking about love languages, and love language is bullshit. Again, this is pseudoscience nonsense. My love language is the best one. I have the best love language. Now, I know what you're thinking. Friction is a pretty good one, but no. Friction, you idiots. Suction, best love language. Just because they could make a quiz you can take and be like, oh, this is my information, doesn't mean it's science, people. So the dude who made up the love language crap, he also wrote the following: men and women are made for each other. It is God's design. Anything other than that is outside of the primary design of God. Now, I'm not going to try to explain all the ins and outs of homosexuality, but I will say, and I just want Gary, his name is Gary Chapman. I'd love to hear Gary explain all the ins and outs of homosexuality, but he didn't do that. I continue to quote Gary: almost all parents, even those who say we should tolerate all lifestyles, will feel shock and deep pain if one of their children announces that he is homosexual. So what's a Christian parent to do? The example of Jesus would lead us to spend time with them, communicate with them, and demonstrate love for them, even though we do not approve of their lifestyle. So love languages, homophobic bullshit, because, oh my God, my love language doesn't allow for gay stuff. Fucking idiots.
It's a big time throw with the defender coming right in his face.
So I guess if you're gay, your love language is like acts of Satan instead of quality time. Try quality lime, like a key lime pie. I don't know. Receiving gifts, sorry, no. Receiving shitty texts from your parents trying to turn you straight, that's your love language, sorry. I love how Julie really dresses to the max for Vikings games. by wearing all black and a hat that says Min.
I didn't know where you were.
I was over here waiting my turn.
All right.
Great job. 6-1.
Hey, you remember the Bills-Vikings game that came down to 2 different failed QB sneaks?
Cousins under center. Kirk sneaks. Push by DJ Ham. And no signal.
Did you call that on your own?
Yeah.
I was gonna call timeout. Man.
Oh, okay. I couldn't hear you. That's my fault.
In that situation, you can go over the top.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
I could have gave you a better formation.
I got you. Okay.
You know, you just gotta let me help you, okay?
All right.
And then Josh Allen like fumbled a QB sneak in his own end zone. It was a touchdown for the defense. Now we know why that happened. It's a miracle. God intervened because Julie Cousins prayed for a miracle, and that's what happened. So God, a Vikings fan, not a Bills fan.
And just absolutely all of us praying for a miracle.
He didn't get out of there. He didn't get out.
You want to guess what Kirk Cousins listens to in his van? Go ahead and guess it. You're wrong. He listens to a podcast of himself.
Speed right, Joe Hokie, Z-Rub Low, X back.
Pretty great podcast. You've made $231 million in the NFL. Maybe just like get a person to drive you and then you could like really study for that 30 minutes of your commute. $231 million was it costing you to have a driver to do that? Like your time as a franchise quarterback is pretty valuable. Use that time to study. Have somebody else drive you. What are you doing? Mariota, maybe drive yourself. I like how we cut from Kirk being like, oh golly geez, to Pat being like, golly.
Fuck no.
That is one thing they do better in this than like the franchise, which is they're not bleeping all the cursing. So in this, you really get to hear Pat's dirty talk. I mean, trash talk.
Bruh.
There's a cut, I think, from Pat Mahomes doing some kind of like, oh, I'm just going to do a spin move and then like finger roll, touchdown. To like Kirk Cousins sitting and talking to like the team psychologist. Yeah, this is fun. We all knew that Kirk Cousins, not a great cook, can't really grill. But here is a skill he does have. You know what he can do? He can go to a bookstore and ask where he can find Bill O'Reilly's books. So he can do that.
Thank you.
Also, is buy one, get one half off if you choose another one from
My
another
lucky day.
table.
Colts comeback, right? The biggest comeback in NFL history against Colts. Julie admits she thought about leaving the game.
Maybe I should take Cooper home so he can get a good nap and I'll watch the rest of the game on the TV.
So all that faith she has, but not for Kirk, I guess. Sorry, Kirk.
You built a good fire, Coop.
I ended up putting in my worship music at the end for the last minute because I was just feeling so overwhelmed and like...
Burned a hole in my sweatshirt. That's my favorite sweatshirt.
No way.
Shoot.
Oh no.
Kirk says it's good to be uncomfortable.
But I saw George Kittle's dad on my flight to Phoenix, and I brought it up to him, and Mr. Kittle said, you know, Kirk, it's good to be uncomfortable.
Which I guess is good because I feel very uncomfortable watching him and Julie because I feel like I'm watching an ad for like Wonder Bread and homophobia and whatever else we had in the 50s, like asbestos ice cream or some shit. He's like a Stepford dad. Is that a thing?
Golly.
I was invited to go to the actual ceremony, but I felt like I needed to use that time to prepare for the Super Bowl.
Well, I got the invite to attend honors only a day before the event. And to be honest, I'm a competitor. I was a little upset that I wasn't invited to honors.
I'm pretty sure they're implying that he only got invited because Pat turned him down.
Tom's won 7 times, went to 10. He's on some beach, so maybe Kirk could win.
Wait, you can really sing?
Yeah. And that's strategic where that towel's placed.
I usually get into the cold tub to ice my lower body.
Just one. Ooh, that's good moderation.
So moving on to Patrick the Frog Mahomes. First thing I learned about Pat, do not annoy him, okay? Max Crosby, not a good idea. You annoy Pat, it's not gonna go well for you. And then he's going to trash talk the shit out of you, ruin your dreams, and then tell you he loves you. It's not the Dennis system, it's the Pat system. Be petty, attack, tell them you love them.
There's always mind games that you play in the NFL. He was trying to do whatever he could to kind of get in my head, a little push or a little shove. He's diving at me after every play. That's a tackle. After every play, 98's diving at me though. And then he kind of gave me one of those extra punches on the arm. Come on, dog. Come on, man. I understand you touched me, bud, but don't punch me, bro.
The Raiders now lead 17-0 at 9:22 to go in the second quarter. Touchdown!
I'm here all day. 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 You walk with the wrong motherfucker.
What?
You walk with the wrong motherfucker. You walk with the wrong motherfucker. You walk with the wrong motherfucker.
All of a sudden, I go into that mode where I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just kind of blacking out and going crazy.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Whenever Coach Reed has to grab you and pull you aside, that's when you know you're going a little too far.
Mahomes. Four of them. Four of them. Four of them.
Travis Kelce yet again.
That's what I'm talking about. You know I love you, dog. Hell of a game. You're fucking balling.
I have a new nickname for Pat, the Owl.
Your vision, the mobility you have in your spine and your neck, there's many quarterbacks that have deficits going both ways, and Patrick can keep his head perfectly still like an owl and still be able to visually see what's going on here and also manipulate his body due to the mobility that he has in his spine.
Pat's got a cannon, and then also the Broncos do make a quick appearance.
Cover your ears, babe. These are moving crazy. All right, last one. Oh!
Hey, bro.
Welcome to Empower Field at Mile High on an absolutely gorgeous December 11th as we are getting set for this AFC West matchup.
Breaking news, though, Patrick Mahomes is going to be changing his hairstyle, for sure. Although I haven't seen that that's happened yet.
Is that my hair?
To you.
I can't believe the hair, though. The hair, though, hey.
Good?
Yep.
Again.
This is my last year with the hair.
No, bro. What are you
Hair's
talking
gone
about?
next year.
Huh?
Hair's gone. I'm going different hairstyle next year.
Were you shaving it?
I almost did it this year, but Head and Shoulders would have been mad. No, I'm just like, I can't have 2 kids and a mohawk.
Why not?
Because I got to be a dad at some point, man. You know what I mean?
Man, you are a dad.
Like, imagine me 40 years old with this haircut, man. I mean, come on.
And it has never occurred to me that, like, that's a youthful haircut or something. It's just Pat just seems like a unique person. And then I go, that's what his hair looks like. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it'd be different if it was like a white dude with an annoying mohawk and be like, that's an annoying mohawk. But anyway, he seems to take his hairstyle. You can't have that when you're 40. So I guess when Pat's 40, when we're going to Super Bowl 69, he's going to be rocking like just a Tom Brady hairdo and he's going to dye his hair black. One of my favorite parts and some actual like football insight, Pat throws an interception and this is actually very bad news for the other team. When they think like, we fooled Pat, we got an interception. And he's immediately like, oh, if they're going to do that, then I'm going to do this. Intercepting Pat, also not a good idea. So don't annoy him. Don't intercept him. You just want Pat to forget you're there. You just got to hope he gets bored.
Gibson, he kind of jumped that in-breaking route. Nufunga made the diving interception.
Last year, a lot of teams started playing higher safeties, way deeper. I'd kind of gotten used to that. I was like, people are going to play deep coverages. I'm going to throw it underneath and make stuff happen. That first drive, I went to throw a throw that I knew was going to be open because the safeties were going to be deep, and the safety drove it immediately. Deep. I've been waiting on someone to put their safeties up so I can throw it deep.
He's got Marquez Valdez-Scantling wide open at the 35, 30, down to the 24-yard line.
They don't know I watched tape. I got tape, brother. I got tape. I wasn't even mad I threw a pick. I felt so disrespected that the safeties were jumping down like that, bro.
You already know. That's game.
You know what I mean? I'm like, y'all, hey, don't come down. I'm going to over your head.
Pat wants to play center and do weird snap stuff. That could be interesting.
So lab is a classroom on the field, or we call it laboratory on the field. It's where we let the players have a little creativity. We try to keep open communication between all of us. We involve Patrick in that. You can bring me anything. The door's wide open.
The double snap. One of my favorite ones that I worked on all offseason, and I act like I was going to throw it in the flat, and then I kind of underhand shoveled it to Clyde for a touchdown. I worked on all offseason. I believe we called it Roadrunner. Ferrari was, I caught the snap going one direction, I flipped back around, and obviously the defense has to react to me catching the snap and running in one direction, and it got a guy free in the end zone.
It does call to mind another team that does weird things on Sunday that makes you go, I didn't even know you could do that. And that's Ferrari, because it's Ferrari, and they constantly find new ways to disappoint. You know, they sometimes say like, oh, it's like a video game, like a quarterback throws 6 touchdowns. Like, oh, this is like a video game. These crazy numbers he's putting up. He's doing such crazy shit that you can't even do it in a video game. Like, no one had ever thought to put a quarterback in motion.
I'd ask our rules guy, is it allowed for the quarterback to go in motion and catch the snap? He was like, yeah, I think so.
And before, like, you can't even do that in a video game. I was playing NCAA 14 on Xbox 360 a few years ago. I was like, I'm gonna make Pat, and I'm gonna play Texas Tech. Terrible defense, but I got Pat, and he's got like 99 arm power or whatever, throw power. So I'm gonna like chuck deep shots and lose 68 to 62 or some shit. And you can't even do it. I try to like scramble out, oh, there's a dude wide open 50 yards on, I throw it up, and it's like, no. The game thinks you have to throw this moon ball that takes 10 seconds to get there, and it gets intercepted. Like, you can't even do the Pat stuff in the game. Like,
well, the famous one is catching Kelsey. It's catching Kelsey. You're on the right or the left hash. Get out and get set. Let's go down right, bust it, catch Kelsey. Which he hates because he hates the show that he was on.
My name is Travis.
Pat Mahomes Sr. is like, I have the best blood. Check out my blood.
He needs to get out of the game.
He ain't getting out. He ain't gonna do that. He ain't in his DNA. Not in his DNA. He ain't gonna do that.
I guarantee this part gets clipped and you'll see this around. Gonna be on a hot take first whatever clickbait show.
I think we match up better versus the Bills, but I want to play the Bengals. Yeah. I mean, just honestly. I mean, I just want to play them. We haven't beat them. I'm tired of them talking.
There are a couple of plays that I'm just like appalled that they don't linger on, don't give you like a slow-mo replay. So one of them in the Seahawks regular season game, Pat does the scramble dive. One of the most incredible tap the pylon plays of all time. You see it once in real time, no slow-mo, no replays. I don't think there's even one replay.
Keeps the ball in his right hand, trying to stay alive. Dives for the far right pylon. Touchdown! Kansas City!
Like, how do you not slow-mo that? You're getting how much screen time for Brittany Mahomes talking about women's soccer?
Look at this. Look at the left hand, hold him up. Get completely horizontal and tap that pylon. As long as you tap that pylon on any side, remember, that goal line goes all the way around the world like the equator. He's just, oh my goodness.
And then in the Super Bowl, there's a play. So he re-injures his ankle like right before halftime.
Fuck.
So we go into halftime thinking, God damn it, he's going to suck in the second half. We're already down 10. Defense sucks. We come out in the third quarter, and there's a play, and he's scrambling. Oh, God, this isn't going to go well. And he's getting tackled and gets, like, hit in the head.
Patrick can keep his head perfectly still like an owl.
How do you not replay that? How do you not give us a slow-mo of that?
Rush on Mahomes. Steps up on the pocket, throws it late, and a catch made by Kelsey.
This is some Unreal Vision flick to Kelsey. I really don't know how he even sees Kelsey here. He basically is getting grabbed. He's in the grasp. He gets his head hit, and he flicks it to Kelsey. That's pretty wild. Protect the ball. Come back. You're in the grasp. Someone hits you in the head. That's not a little human. That's a big old dude. Boom, head slap. How does he then get hit in the head and then see Kelsey otherworldly? I really don't understand how he sees it. I mean, right? Like, he's looking to the right there. Head slap. Throwing. What a play.
Patrick Mahomes has got quite a tongue on him.
Rolling into the end zone! Are they going to give it to
Mahomes feeling it. And for the first time today, they've got the lead in this Arctic Circle of guys.
The Snowglobe charter screen. The Snowglobe charter screen. Yeah. Here when they had that in Oakland, it was cool as shit. It lit an actual flame. On field I played on and my dad played on. Here we go. Snowglobe screen left.
What is this? Look at this. What are they doing?
Go, 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 go.
The Chiefs are dancing in a circle in the huddle, and now they race forward. McKinnon in front of Patrick Mahomes takes the snap. They run the option to the right. Mahomes throws it back to the left. Tony has a grab. Breaks out of a tackle at the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Kansas City. There is a flag there, which is going to probably bring this back.
What?
We'll see y'all in Burrowhead. Yeah, baby. Let that stick in your mind. We'll see y'all in Burrowhead.
It's a great week at Burrowhead, right? I know that pisses you off.
Many more, dog. Many more. Hey, hold the game. Hold the computer dog too, bro. Many more, dog.
I've never cried in my life.
Burrowhead my ass. Whoa! It's my
What the hell?
You just had a baby and looks good.
I know. Thanks, girl.
Good luck.
How are you? Good to see you. Say hi.
Every seat is filled, as you might guess.
This is the best day in football for me. Just these are moments that you.
So moving on to Marcus Mariota. He's so boring. They do nothing with the storyline. He's going to get benched for the rookie. We don't have any insight into that at all. We just see him and his pregnant wife. The season starts and it's like, oh, this game comes down to one play and he fumbles it and they lose.
If you get a foot, you win the game.
180.
Fumbled the snap, picks it up, dives, and I think he's still going to be a step short.
Next game, it's coming back down to one play and he fumbles it and they're going to lose. But, oh, the defense bailed him out so they win. I was like, yeah, this is going great for Marcus. We meet Marcus's personal chef and it's kind of awkward because this dude, they're like friends for a long time. And he's like so invested and like screaming. There's a lady who's like, oh my God, this dude's screaming so much of the game. And it's like, yeah, because if Marcus sucks, he's going to lose his job. And it just kind of feels like how many of your friends are on your payroll, you know? I don't know. It just feels kind of awkward. Like, kind of makes me uncomfortable. But Kirk Cousins says that's good.
It's a big-time throw with a defender coming right in his face.
The Athletic recently put out a, I think, 5-part pod, but Jordan Rodriguez interviewing is like the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan coaching tree situation. And I believe it was Kyle Shanahan is talking about like when you're a kid and you're rooting for your dad's team and like you gotta be like the ball boy or whatever. And it's like, that's fun, but like when things don't go well, if your dad gets fired or if like he's the coordinator and like the head coach gets fired and whatever, you're moving and saying bye to all your friends. So it's like, just think about watching football and the stakes of it. Like if we win, that's great. If we lose, oh, I'm mad. And it's like, if we lose, I have to move schools. Golly. There's a good bit in there about how they were all called the Piss Boys. Anyway, have you noticed I'm not really talking about Mariota? Yeah, because there's not really much to say. He's got a pregnant wife, right? And he's going to become a dad first time.
I let her take the instructions. I just do all the manual stuff.
Wheels check. Okay.
There's like, oh, when will he get benched? The season's not going well. Has baby, he gets benched immediately.
You know, I'm sure the next question is going to be about the quarterback. Marcus isn't even in the building today. His wife went in labor this morning.
And then he gets cut from the show. You don't see him on the show anymore, except for at the very end. So it makes me think like, was the team like, okay, he sucks. Oh, he just had a baby. He's going to be distracted and not getting any sleep. Might as well bench him now. Give him some paternity leave. Was any thought put into any of that? Is it just a coincidence that as soon as he had a baby, they fired him, essentially? And then he just, like, vanishes, like, quits the team, essentially? Like, he's not even there and went to get surgery? Like, wasn't he allowed to do that? I don't know.
It seems like that Mariota quit on this team.
What is going through this guy's mind?
There's no insight into that. We don't learn anything about it. I did notice in the credits that they dubbed voices, so like different languages. There's like dubbing, and I'm very interested to see like who do you get to dub Patrick Mahomes? Bruh. Do you get your country's Kermit the Frog guy? Like, how does that work? So I might look that up later and then cut some of those in now. And oh my God, that was crazy. Look at this funny clip. Oh, I found this interesting dubbing later.
Vediamo come sei messo.
Cazzo! Malédiction!
On peut pas attendre la mi-temps. Pat, allez, Phil, va donc passer une radio, comme ça on sera fixé.
Merde! Ça fait chier!
¡Demonios! ¡Maldición!
Conduzco se volvió viral.
¿Recuerdan cuando Kirk Cousins dijo les gustó? Hablaba de su camioneta. Tú conduces una de estas, ¿no?
Sí, me gustan y me siento en casa ahora.
Miért nem a fél időben? Gyorsan elmész röntgenre és meglátjuk.
Basszus! Fenébe! Kurwa. Niech to szlak.
Черт! Бляха!
Lanet olsun! Lanet olsun!
Oh, that was interesting.
And now you got two beautiful balls.
Yeah, kids.
I'll make sure to put them right next to each other in the trophy case.
So anyway, overall, I didn't think it was great. It was okay. They don't really play up the drama. It's not as good as like, okay, I don't watch Hard Knocks anymore. And there's only so many times you could watch like, hey, watch these 5 camp bodies all get cut. It's not that interesting. I think at some point they started doing more with the like stars on Hard Knocks. Didn't they just do like, they followed the Cardinals all season? Was that a thing? I didn't watch that. There's just so much of this content now. Like a bunch, I think there's like 10, 12 teams do their own shows like this. I think those are pretty good. So I don't have a ranking of those. I bet somebody's done it. But I would say the Chiefs one is really, really good. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. If you're new to this channel because of this like quarterback football stuff, typically what I do is I get drunk and watch like shitty movies, or I get friends together and get them drunk and then make them watch just the most absurd, weird films I can find.
Oh, that's good moderation.
We did an episode on draft day. Oh dear. Oh, girl, this is Freya. Freya is a foster puppy, available on Lucky 13. You can adopt her. We've had her about 2 weeks, and she's pretty great. Freya back. Oh, thank you.
You know I love you, dog.
He's on a show with Marcus Mariota and Kirk Cousins. That's the company you're keeping?
Is Mahomes not cool? Now that I'm listing it out loud and just like his characteristics, sounds like Kermit, ketchup on steak, family man, lame, and right, show with Kirk and Mariota. I'm worried Mahomes isn't cool.
No, he's definitely not cool.
This week on the Ringer NFL show, I'm Ben Solak. The big question we're answering is Mahomes cool? Can Mahomes hang? Is he cool enough?
Is Mahomes a fucking dork?
I'm like that.